Hello, my name's Liam Bastick. I work at Some Product, and today I'm going to show you the pros and cons of VLOOKUP. And guess what? I'm going to do it in 5 minutes or less. Right, let's go with an example then. So VLOOKUP means vertical lookup, so it's actually looking something up in a vertical range, which would be a column in English. So this is a column here. We're going to look up alpha in this column, and we want to return a corresponding value in this table. So this will be my lookup table. How it actually works then is you just start typing in VLOOKUP, and it wants the lookup value, which is going to be alpha, and then I'm going to say it wants the table array, which will be this, and then it wants the column index number. Now it has to be one of the columns in the table. There's only 5 columns, so I can't go a column to the left and I can't go over here to the right. That's one of the restrictions. Put the number 5, so we'll say the 5th column, and then the range lookup is optional, which is why it's in square brackets. Doesn't mean you type in square brackets, so I'm going to ignore that for the time being and press enter. Lo and behold, I get the number 5 because it finds alpha here, first row of the first column, and therefore returns the corresponding value in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th column along the number 5. So far, so good. Problem with VLOOKUP, it promotes hard coding here, the number of columns. A lot of proponents will actually say that's a good thing because if you use index match or something else, you need 2 functions, whereas with VLOOKUP, you need the 1. Problem, if I start going in here and inserting 2 columns, you will see now it returns the value 3 because it finds alpha here, and 5 columns across is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the number 3. It doesn't move. Similarly, if I were to go in here and go delete, it will call the referee on me. So again, a problem. So you shouldn't really be looking at VLOOKUP on its own. You need to use another function, and I tend to use the columns function with it, which means that if I go here and highlight this, it's going to count the number of columns so that it will avoid that. So you need the VLOOKUP and columns. So if I insert 2 here, it still works. And if instead I delete 2 columns, it still works as well. Nice. Now, VLOOKUP doesn't just work with words here. You can use numbers. They just have to be sorted in an order. So I can use the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's change it to this. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will now give us NA because it can't find anything. Whereas VLOOKUP here, if I do the same, VLOOKUP, find this value here in this table, comma 5, it will still work. Great, 375,000, all looking good. Problem with this is it needs things to be in ascending order. If I start going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go in here, well, it seems to work here. Number 1 is now NA. Number 2 is NA because it finds the 5, but all the other numbers in here, well, 4 is not 375. 5 is actually, well, it's given me a number, but it's not the right one. Has to be ascending. And it doesn't even like duplicates. If I go in here 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, well, it's finding me the 3840, whereas I've changed this back to 2, 3, 4, 5. It finds me the 5 is working okay. Problem that will actually happen here is that if you're going to go through this, it needs it to be sequenced in order. So if I put number 1, it gives me the 3840. But if I put another one here, it gives me the 29160. So it looks like it's finding the final value each time. But this isn't the case, because if I put this one in here, it doesn't find me the 375. It stays here. It's inconsistent. And this is the problem when you omit the final argument. The final argument is looking for an approximate match, but requires them in ascending order. If you don't, you've got to put in here true or false. Now, unfortunately, true is the default. You actually want false. So if I put this in here, it will now behave finding the first value in here. So it will find the number 1 here. If I put a number 4 here and choose number 4 here, it will find the first occasion of number 4, 29160. And that's the way you get around it. To summarize, pros and cons then of what you've actually got with VLOOKUP. So let's just go through it. What are some of the issues? First one, it defaults to an approximate match. Remember to put false in. Secondly, you might forget to use the final argument altogether. Thirdly, it doesn't support insertions or deletions of a column. You can't look left. You can't search from the bottom, so you can't go backwards. You can't search the next largest item, so if you wanted to find something different, and references too many cells, so if you change numbers in the middle of that table have no bearing, it will still recalculate. And I don't like it. And that's 5 minutes. Thanks for listening. Check out our other videos here too.